Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the session. I hope I am audible and visible to all of you. I'm just trying to check on my other machine whether I'm visible or not. Yeah, I think it's going through now. So we are doing a session today on we are continuing actually something that I started a couple of days back, and we are doing a session basically on a review of the CAT 2020 paper and the slot one of that paper actually. So uh, so I had already done the first six questions of the paper, and basically what I wanted to inform you about there. I mean, essentially, given the fact that you are in the last week before CAT, you have last 1 week left, 10 days left for preparation. You need to understand what is your current comfort level with respect to CAT. That's one thing you need to understand. And in that context, I want you to be very clear about your understanding about out of every six questions, on an average, what is your knowledge level? Is it 3 out of 6? Is it 4 out of 6? Is it 4 out of 6? Is it 5 out of 6? Because one of the cardinal mistakes that you make around the CAT, or is it lower? Is it 2 out of 6? Is that the average? So one of the cardinal mistakes that you'll make up in the exam in the CAT is that if your knowledge does not support it, if your knowledge supports only 2 out of 6, and you're trying to go for 2 out of 6 means basically out of 24 you'll know 8 questions. So in that context, if you're trying to go for 15-16 attempts, obviously, and this guy is heading to he has a knowledge of 16 attempts, 16 out of 24. And if somebody who's got an average of 5 out of 6 has a knowledge of 20 out of 24, somebody who's got a knowledge of 3 out of 6 has a knowledge of 12 out of 24. So when you are entering the CAT exam, when you're entering when you're going into your paper, you have to be very very conscious about the awareness of what level you have. Is it 2 out of 6? Is it 3 out of 6? Is it 4 out of 6? Is it 5 out of 6? Some people who are actually very good at quants can also have a 6 out of 6 structure. So what level are you at currently, right? So in that case, you know all 24 questions. So accordingly, you will try to target around 80% of those questions as your solid attempts. 80, you can try to go to 90, but of course you can't go to 110% of your knowledge as solid attempts. So if you've got 12 questions known out of 24, I think the best you can do is 9 to 10 attempts, 9 to 10 solid attempts. And what you need to ensure in the exam is that you make no mistakes. You have to ensure inside the exam that you make no errors. Just cool down a little bit. You are under a lot of pressure because of trying to overachieve. So suppose somebody's knowledge is 12 or 24 and he is aiming for 13 attempts. It's very difficult to do that. It's not possible. You can't get 100% of 100% of what you know. वो भी नहीं आता है. You'll not get that actually. Right? It's very difficult. 24 to 24 वाले भी 21 22 solve करते हैं. So typically you will be able to convert 80 to 90%. So one of the things that you should do in the last week before CAT is try to measure last 10 days in the CAT before the CAT is try to get a measure. Is it 2.5 on average? So what you can do to measure is basically pick up your old previous year CAT questions. Pick up previous year CAT questions. If you are using a book which has, let's say, chapter wise, or if you have something which is available paper wise available है तो आसान है करना. चैप्टर वाइज अवेलेबल है तो थोड़ा तुमको मेहनत करना पड़ेगा. पेपर वाइज अवेलेबल है तो क्या करोगे, ऑब्वियसली 6 क्वेश्चन का ब्लॉक्स बनाते जाओगे. एंड डू दिस फ्रॉम 99 to 2008 and 17 to 20. Do this for these exams. So keep making blocks of 6 questions each and just try to see what your knowledge level is. How many of them do you know? How many of them you are comfortable with? तो अगर ये एक दो ब्लॉक में करोगे, if you just do two sorts of sets of these 6 questions, so you might not get a complete measurement of where you are. But if you do this across 20 times, if you do this 20 times, that you are looking at 20 plus times, 6 questions at a time, तो you'll get an average कि तुमको कितना normally आता है out of 6 questions, right? Specifically 17-20 के papers बहुत relevant रहेंगे obviously इसमें, goes without saying. And if you are in the PYQs chapter wise, then what you do is pick up 2 questions, 1 question from 6 different chapters. So you might do something like question 1 of all the 6 chapters that you're looking at, and try to see out of 6 how many do you know, right? So try to do it that way, and you keep switching the chapters. So इस तरह से फिर question 2, what you can do is you can use 3 of the chapters that you use in the first round, and second 6 questions that you're doing, you're taking 3 questions from a second from 3 different chapters, 3 new chapters. So what happens is you do question 2 of these 3 chapters, and then you do question 1 of these 3 chapters. So इस तरह से mix match करके make sure that when you do 20 sets of 6 questions each, when you do these 20 sets of 6 questions each, you have kind of looked at you have kind of looked at all the chapters with say adequate representation, maybe 3-4 questions at least of each of the chapters, and then you continue doing this. So you'll start getting an average कि average मेरे को कितना आता है. So उस average पे अपना strategy बनाना ज़रूरी है कि मेरे को quants में क्या करना चाहिए, right? So that's what you should do at this point. So accordingly, if you know 20 questions on an average out of 24 every time, if this is a knowledge, your attempt target should be 15 to 18. 80% to 90% should be attempt target, right? This is what you need to do inside these inside the exam with respect to strategy. So let me come back to my original presentation. This is a quant review and how to tackle the quant paper. We are going to come to that. First 6 questions I've done in the previous session. So today I'll do questions 7 to 12, and we'll see whether you can do 4 or 5 out of those. If you're basically doing 5 out of 6 every 6, you're heading towards the 20 question mark, and 20 questions all correct will get you 99.9 percentile in the quant section. So do enroll now for the Unacademy Plus or the Unacademy Iconic subscriptions. You got 13 November को Master Weekend batch for CAT-alyst has started. 17th November of CAT-alyst 22 batch for engineering students graduates. 17th November also all-rounder Omits batch 1.0. मेरा course आ रहा है foundation course on data interpretation, that's starting on 24th November. And this is the Iconic subscription available, 24 months, 12 months and 6 months. In the Iconic you get all the benefits of Plus, apart from 1:1 live doubt solving and 1:1 live concept discussion and live mentorship by top B school graduates. And there's an offer alert, exciting offers for CAT and OMET aspirants. You need to hurry up. You buy a 3-month subscription and get 1 month extra free. And if you buy a 12 or 24 month subscription now, you get a 2 month extra free. And this is the promo code you can use, Sharma CAT Live. If you use this promo code, you'll get a 10% discount on the existing fees. ठीक है, तो चलते हैं फिर. We have done these 6 questions before. So let's try to see whether question 7 to 12 में is it feasible to take a 5 out of 6 case. Can we try to get 5 out of 6? So I want you to have a look at this question. I'm giving you around 30 seconds for this, and after that I'll explain the question to you. Okay, so let's have a look at this question. The question says, let A, B, C be three positive integers such that sum of A and the mean of B and C is 5. Now this leads us to an equation, sum of A plus mean of B and C. Mean of B and C is B plus C by 2. This value is 5. So obviously we will not leave this equation in this form. The immediate reaction is that 2A plus B plus C is equal to 10. That's the immediate reaction to this question, to the first statement. In addition, the sum of B and the mean of A and C is 7. So they're giving you a second equation here. Sum of B plus the mean of A and C is 7. So again, you'll obviously not leave this equation at this point. You'll do 2B plus A plus C is equal to 14. Then the sum of A and B. They've asked us for the value of A plus B. So you're in a classic two equations. If you look at this situation, you're in a classic two equation, three unknown situation. So the first thing you should realize is that a two equation, three unknown situation cannot give you the values of all the unknowns. The basic logic in maths is the basic logic in maths is always that number of equations, the number of distinct equations, and number of unknowns should be equal to each other. Right? That's the basic logic. So, given this logic, what you have to understand is that you really can't find the values of A and B individually, but you can try to find the values of A plus B. So there are four options here: 5, 4, 7, 6. And the immediate thing to work on this is the value of A plus B as an option given to you. So the first reaction to these two equations is that if you subtract one equation from the other, C will get eliminated. So you will get A, or you subtract 14 minus 10, you will get B, 2B minus B, and A minus 2A. So B minus A is equal to 4. This is what you get. B minus A is equal to 4. You get that. And from here, you can actually go straight into the options. So for example, if you try B plus A as 5, so you realize that if the sum of A plus B is 5, then if I take an average of 2.5 for each of them, and then I want to make a difference of B minus A as 4, I'll have to increase B by 2, and I'll have to reduce A by 2. So this is a logical way of solving this simultaneous equation. इसको तो ऐड करके कर सकते हो, लेकिन that will take too much time. So that's why you have to try to do it this way. So you'll get B as 4.5 and A as 0.5. But the question has told us very clearly that A, B, C are three positive integers. So you can actually get rid of the 4, 5 and 7 from here. So 5 and 7 you can actually remove, because in both cases A and B will come out to be decimals. So if I try for A plus B as 6, see what happens. A plus B is 6, I can think of both A and B as 3, 3. First initial thought. And then because B is 4 more than A, I raise B by 2 and I reduce A by 2. The average of A plus A and B will remain 3 when I do this. And the sum will remain 6. So B will become 5 and A will become 1. B becomes 5 and A becomes 1. So with B as 5 and A as 1, if I check my equations, my first equation gives me a value of 3 as 3. With B as 5 and A as 1, the second equation also gives me a value of B as C as 3. So in both cases, I've got an equality between the values of C, and hence 6 is the correct answer. इसको तुम एक तरह से और कर सकते थे. You could have also done this from another perspective. वो perspective ये है. Let me just clean this board a little bit. The other perspective from where you could have solved this is that once you got B minus A as 4, and you know that A, B, C are positive integers, so the minimum value of B and A will be 5 and 1. The other values possible are 6, 2, 7, 3, and so on. But a value like 6, 2, for example, does not fit, because if B is 6, this is 12, A is 2, C becomes 0. It does not fit the situation. ठीक है? Ritik is saying I'm scoring 75, 85 in the last few mocks. Quant is a problem, scoring 20 approx. So you need to measure how many questions do you know, Ritik, on average. कितने questions आते हैं? तो 6-2 पे देखोगे तो C का वैल्यू 0 आ जा रहा है. 7-3 ट्राई करोगे तो 14 plus 3, 17. C value is -3, which is not possible because ABC are natural numbers. ABC are positive integers. So 5 1 is the only value for A and B. So A plus B is 6 is straight from this point. It's a pretty simple question. So I think I'll answer your question based on your answer to me, to what I'm asking you. How many questions do you normally know in the exam? Okay, for those of you solving this, try the second question here. So as I mentioned at the start of the session, if you're scoring 20 approx, that means you're getting around 7 questions right, 7-8 questions right with errors. So if your knowledge is only 12 questions, 12-13 questions, तो 7-8 राइट से ज़्यादा 8 मे बी 9 या 10 राइट करने का कोशिश कर सकते हो तुम. लेकिन अगर नॉलेज ज़्यादा है, 14-16 क्वेश्चंस का नॉलेज है, एंड देन यू ओनली स्कोरिंग 20, that means that you can actually improve your score by improving your selection and behavior. Yeah, so that's Ritik says after the paper I'm able to solve 12 to 15. So 12 to 15 अगर तुम्हारा बैंड है of knowledge, तो तुमको 10 क्वेश्चन 9 to 10 क्वेश्चंस करना आना चाहिए एग्जाम के अंदर. So टाइम मैनेजमेंट जो हो रहा है ना तुम्हारा प्रॉब्लम, what you do is just keep a hard stop of 10 minutes for the first 6 questions. पहला 6 क्वेश्चन में जो करना है 10 मिनट के अंदर खत्म करो. जो करना नहीं आता है, 0 होता है 0 करो, लेकिन 10 मिनट्स के अंदर लिमिट कर दो उसको. So if you limit your paper into 4 slots of 10 minutes each, you will see that you will get a better insight into the questions. And hota kya hai, initially when you start off the paper, you have a tendency of taking more time on the questions. Acha ek cheez aur, if you know 12 to 15 in the mocks, then CAT mein shayad you'll know a little bit more, because CAT questions are normally easier. So just check that also. Okay, on actual CAT questions, what knowledge do you have? So accordingly, you can actually aim higher. So if an actual CAT question the knowledge level is 15 to 18, then you should be aiming at 12 at 30s in your mock scores. It's just a matter of better decision making and making sure that you don't get stuck in questions which are not going to get, not where you're not going to get through. So this question, the second one, is actually a straight standard question. If you have done time split distance, you will be able to get this question very easily. A straight road connects points A and B. Car 1 travels from A to B and car 2 travels from B to A, both leaving at the same time. After meeting each other, they take 45 minutes and 20 minutes respectively to complete their journeys. So ये standard question है. This is one of the questions that you will find in every book on time split distance. On time split distance, you've got A to B, car 1 starts from A towards B. Car 2 starts from B towards A. They meet at a point, and after the meeting point, they take 45 minutes and 20 minutes. They meet at a point, and after the meeting point, they take 45 minutes and 20 minutes. They start at the same time. That's an important ingredient of this question. After the meeting point, they take 45 minutes and 20 minutes to reach the destinations. So, इस question में the logic basically is, I mean, I don't know whether you have built this logic earlier or not, but this logic should be built for you. That if I talk about this point as M, the journey of car 1 from A to M is replicated or reversed on this side by the journey of car 2 from M to A. And these two journeys, the time is equal. Sorry, distance is equal. The distance car 1 travels from A to M is the same distance as car 2 travels from M to A. And if distance is equal, then speed of car 1 to speed of car 2 will be equal to, suppose car 1 takes time t, the speed of car 1 by speed of car 2 will be equal to 20 by t. And this, if car 1 takes a time t here, then car 2 also takes a time t there. So 20 by t is equal to 45 by t, because the same equation, if you look at the journey from M to B and B to M respectively, the distance is again constant. Same distance both the cars are traveling, right? So if this distance is same, the speed is inversely proportional to time. So यहाँ पे 20 by t, यहाँ पे t by 45 हो जाएगा, because S1 का speed यहाँ पे और S2 का speed ये है, तो S1 by S2 will be equal to t by 45. So if you equate these two are going to be giving you the ratio of S1 by S2, right? So t का value 30 आ रहा है, और t का value 30 अगर आ रहा है, तो S1 by S2 is 2 by 3. And then they have told us that car 1 is traveling at 60 kilometers per hour. If car 1 is 60, car 2 is 90. So that's the answer to this question. Okay. और ये तुमको पता रहना चाहिए, because ये starting question है. That's something that you should not do, Ritik. Scanning the whole paper is actually counterproductive, because you can't keep track of 25 questions in your mind. Keep 6 questions that you can keep track in your mind. So I think that's where maybe you're going wrong. Scan the first 6 questions. Decide on 2 questions. See, if you are scoring around 20 right now, so every 6 minutes, every 10 minutes, if you can do around 2.5 questions. Every 10 minutes, if you can do around 2.5 questions, and you can do 10 questions over 40 minutes, 4 slots of 40 minutes, if you can do 10 questions, you will be at 30 marks. Just make sure that you don't make any errors. Just make sure that your steps are solid. Eliminate the silly errors, eliminate the calculation errors, eliminate the errors that happen because you got into the wrong question, and you can score 30. You can actually raise your score to 30 even in this time. So this was an easy question. It will get classified as easy questions. And as I was saying, Ritik, just focus on I talked about this at the start of the class, that you need to calibrate what your current level of awareness is. How good are you with respect to every 6 questions में तुम्हारा average knowledge कितना है, उसको calculate कर लो. This is an interesting question. So उसके हिसाब से अपना वो, अगर 12 to 15 तुम जानते हो, तो every 6 questions में तुम normally 3 जानोगे. 3.5 के आसपास तुम्हारा knowledge है, तो 3.5 के आसपास knowledge है, तो 2.5 आराम से convert कर सकते हो. You don't need to waste your time, or you don't need to spend time on At least to get to 30 score, you don't need to study anything more. ठीक है. और दूसरा चीज PYQs कर लो. PYQ से बहुत बार क्या होता है, you have to know the PYQs from 99 to 2008 and 17 to 20. PYQ से बहुत बार क्या होता है कि you get sometimes you get questions which are directly repetitions of previous year question this thing. So if you have done the PYQs and understood the processes for them, एक दो question फंसने का chances है उसमें. ठीक है. So that's another thing. So leaving out at the same time, Amal reaches, yeah, typing errors है, reaches office at 10:15 a.m. if he travels at 8 kilometers per hour, 9:40 a.m. if he travels at 15 kilometers per hour. So leaving home at the same time, he reaches at 9:40 if he's traveling at 8 kilometers per hour, and if he's traveling at 15 kilometers per hour, he's reaching at 10:15. उल्टा है. Is the opposite. Obviously, it is the opposite. He reaches at 10:15 if he's traveling at 8 kilometers per hour, and he's reaching at 9:40 if he's traveling at 15 kilometers per hour. So what you should be able to see that you are saving 35 minutes. You're saving 35 minutes, and you're saving 35 minutes because your speed has gone up by 7 by 8. And when your speed goes up by 7 by 8 on distance constancy, the distance is same in both these cases. So when speed goes up by 7 or 8, your time comes down by 7 by 15. So the reduction in time of 35 minutes is actually 7 by 15 of the time you're taking here. So 7 by 15 t, if I assume t is the time taken here, 7 by 15 t is equal to 35 minutes. So t का value 75 minutes हो जाएगा. That means this car, Aman at 8 kilometers per hour takes 75 minutes. 75 minutes is 1.25 hours. That means the distance is 10 kilometers. 8 into 2, 1.25. That's the first reaction in this question. And the second reaction is leaving at 9:10. At what speed must he travel so as to reach office exactly at 10 a.m.? So if he's reaching at 9:10, if he's leaving at 9:10 and wants to reach at 10, he's got 50 minutes. That means 5/6 of an hour. And he has to travel 10 kilometers. So if you're traveling 10 kilometers in 5/6 of an hour, your speed basically can be calculated as 10 divided by 5 by 6, which is 12 kilometers per hour. That's his speed. So the correct answer is option B here. And ये भी interesting question है. इसका समझ लो because ये बहुत बार पूछा जाता है. You should just know this structure. This is used a lot of times. This question structure is used a lot of times. तो ये question क्या है इसमें this question, just have a look at the question. I'll give you 30 seconds to have a look at this question. Okay. So this question says, a solid right circular cone of height 27 centimeters is cut into two pieces along a plane parallel to its base at a height of 18 centimeters from the base. So what's happening in this question is that there's a solid right cone, something like this it looks like. Maybe I should draw it the other way. Yeah, it looks like this. And this cone is cut along the horizontal at a height 18 centimeters from the base. So basically what's happening is that you have created a cone, a smaller cone. This is the smaller cone and the frustum of the cone from the overall larger cone. And the larger cone has a height of 27 and this is 18. You're cutting at a height of 18 from the base. So the smaller cone has a height of 9. The question says if the difference in the volume of the two pieces is 225 cc, that means the volume of the smaller cone minus volume of the frustum, or actually the difference between them, this is 225. Then what is the volume of the larger cone? We are being asked the volume of the larger cone. So volume of the larger cone will be volume of the smaller cone plus volume of the frustum. That's what you understand here. Okay? Yeah, so what's going to happen basically is that in this question you use similarity. It's just a two-step question, 15 seconds max. Because the height has become 1/3, everything on this smaller cone will become 1/3. Right? So let's say the volume of the larger cone is 27 V. So because everything is becoming 1/3, the volume of the smaller cone will be 1/27th of the volume of the larger cone. So the volume of the smaller cone will become V in that case. And if this is V, if this volume is V, then the volume of the frustum will be 26V, because this plus this has to be 27. So volume of the frustum has to be 26V. And what is given to us is the difference between these two, which is 25V, is equal to 225. So the value of V comes out to be 9. So the volume of the original cone is 27V, which is 27 into 9, which is 243. So option C is the right answer there. That's how you do this question. So this is based on similarity. इसमें बहुत लोग formulas of cone करते हैं, formula of cone, volume of the cone का formula निकालते हैं, V और 1/3V करते हैं. All that you don't need to do. Just understand that this figure and the original cone are similar to each other. They are similar figures. And for two similar objects, all the lengths have the same multiplier. Whatever multiplier you use for the lengths, the areas become squared of that multiplier and the volumes become cubed of that multiplier. That means if I have got two similar objects, object A and object A, and let's say these objects have lengths, areas and volumes. So if the length is becoming half, the area will become 1/4 and the volume will become 1/8. That is the logic I used here. The length was becoming 1/3 in the new cone. So the area would have become 1/9 and the volume would have become 1/27. So if I take the original volume as 27V, the new volume is going to be V only. And the cutoff piece will be 26V. That will be the frustum. So the difference between these two is 25V. And that's given to you as 225. So V is 9. So you can find this out. Just remember this similarity is used a lot in CAT. ठीक है, चलो. So you can see that even in these 6 questions, things are not very difficult. ये जो क्वेश्चन है ये सिंपल. वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन विल डू. This question is a simple pigeonhole principle question, and all you have to do is 100 divided by 12, 100 divided by 12, and round it off to the larger number. So 100 divided by 12 is 8.33. So you'll round it off to 9. So इसका answer 9 रहेगा. Because the question is saying among 100 students, x1 have birthdays in January, x2 has birthdays in February, and so on. x0 is maximum of x1 to x12. So suppose I say कि all the birthdays are in January, तो x1 100 हो जाएगा, and x2 to x12 will become 0. We are talking about x0 as the max of x1, x2, x12. So one distribution of the 100 people's birthdays could be that I use all 100 birthdays in January. This is obviously x1 is the number of people whose birthdays in January, and I use all the other as 0. So in this case, the value of x0 will come out to be 100. Now the question is asking us smallest value of x0, so I have to minimize x0. So if I use a different distribution, January 50, February 50, and everything else 0, I realize that x0 ko I can bring down to 50. So then the thought becomes, why don't I distribute everything equally? So if I try to distribute everything equally, I can have 12 months of with 8 birthdays each. And since there are 100 people and 100 birthdays, I'll have to do +1 on the first 4 months, on any 4 months. So my pattern will look like 4 9s and 8 8s. And from this list, if I take out x0, the value of x0 will be 9. x0 is the maximum of this list. So the value of x0 is 9, and I can't bring this down below 9, because if I keep all these numbers down to 8, I cannot accommodate more than 96 people. So that's the logic for this question. Okay? So you can see that inside the CAT it's not very difficult. Just these small thoughts that you have to have inculcated. Don't get too psyched out by the mock test questions. The CAT questions will normally always be easier than the mock questions. Okay? So I just want to go through. Obviously don't have time to do the entire this thing, but CAT Mega Combat is happening on 21st November, 60 minutes, 30 questions, and Amazon watches are up for grabs with a real-time All India rank, and Snap Mock free on 16th November, 10 a.m. You can take that, and Ask a Doubt by Unacademy is also a feature on the Unacademy app which you can use. And to register for any of the courses, etc., you can use this promo code. Chalo, thanks a lot, everybody. I'll wind up now.